Hey guys, welcome back to Craig's Fishroom. Today, I wanted to walk through how I built this DIY filter that I use in every single one of my aquariums. It's super simple to build, it's really effective at trapping particulate matter and debris that might be floating around in your aquarium, and it's really easy to change the filter media out so that you can get on with your day and you don't have to deal with a whole bunch of filter maintenance. So come along with me and learn how to be a better aquarist.
Here are the recommended tools that you're going to need for this project. First off is a drill with a drill bit. Next is a Dremel tool with the sanding disc attachment. Then we're also going to need a pair of PVC snips. We're going to need a soldering iron. The cheaper the better. Handy to have a pair of scissors and a box knife. And then a tape measure, a piece of sandpaper, and a pencil. Now, the materials you're going to need for this build is an empty 2-liter bottle, a piece of 1-inch PVC pipe, a piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe. You're going to need the base to an ATI sponge filter or something similar, a weighted base. You're going to need a 1-inch by 1-inch by 1/2-inch reducer PVC tee. You're going to need a 1/2-inch PVC elbow, a slim airline stone. We've got an O-ring. We've got an airline adapter, straight by straight adapter. A small piece of airline tubing. A small piece of filter floss. And last but not least, a 2-liter bottle to PVC adapter.
Alright guys, to start off this build, we're going to start from the bottom up. And the first piece we're going to need is our weighted base. Now, you can use anything for a weighted base. You could use a piece of slate. You could use any type of sponge filter base. I just found that these old ATI sponge filter bases, they're very heavy, and the size of this piece of plastic is very close to the internal dimension of a 1-inch PVC adapter, and so this is the one that I chose to use. First thing we're going to need to do here is take our 1-inch by 1-inch by 1/2-inch PVC tee, and we're going to need to sand the inside of one of the 1-inch sides here. And you can use this with, you can do this with a Dremel tool, with the sanding belt for a Dremel tool. You can also use just a piece of sandpaper to just rough up the inside just enough so that you can get a good pressure fit onto the base here. Now, if you don't sand the PVC pipe, it won't fit into the ATI sponge base here. And so that's what's required, is just a little bit of sanding to get that to pressure fit, just like that. Next thing we're going to need to do is take our drill and drill a small hole the exact same size as a airline hose in the corner of this PVC tee. And it's important that you don't drill it into the small section here. You sort of want to put it in a 45-degree angle here so that it enters the inside of the tee without interrupting the 1/2-inch piece here, and you'll see why in just a minute. Alright, next thing we're going to do is take our small piece of airline tubing and thread it through that hole. It's good if this is sort of a pressure fit. You don't want it to be too loose. And so if we just pull this airline up and through so that we have access to it, then we can take a slim airline stone. You could really use any airline stone if you want. Actually, you don't even need to use an airline stone, but you can attach it there. This is going to make smaller, finer bubbles. If you don't use one, it's going to be a little bit louder and it's going to make larger bubbles. So we're just going to tuck that into the base here and then pull the slack airline back out through here so that, as you can see, our airline and our air stone are now inside this base. Next, we can just take our adapter here and attach that, and that will allow you to attach this to any of your airline throughout your fish room or your aquarium. Okay, from here, we're gonna take a small piece of 1/2 inch PVC and our 1/2 inch PVC elbow and connect those, and then connect them here to the base. And this is why it's really important to make sure that your airline enters up above, because if it doesn't, you can actually pinch your airline when you're sort of pushing this on. So just be careful of that. Make sure you're not pinching your airline off. Okay, last piece to this base platform is this really nifty adapter. This is a 2-liter bottle adapter to a 1-inch PVC adapter, and I'll leave the link to this down below so that you can go check them out and buy them. This is probably one of the most handy things that I've ever found on the internet for my fish room, because there's so many uses for 2-liter bottles and PVC within an aquarium and within projects like this. So for this, what we're going to do is we're just going to push that right onto the top, and that's going to allow us to thread and connect our 2-liter bottle to the top of this filter. Okay, now this is where a little bit of measuring is going to come into play, because the next step here is we're going to take our 2-liter bottle, and you can cut the little plastic piece off here. It really doesn't matter. We're going to take the 2-liter bottle here and screw this and thread this into the top of our filter. And now what you need to do is you need to take this over to your aquarium, and you need to put the base all the way to the bottom of the aquarium and then measure up where your water line is. And ideally, this bottle needs to be cut about 1 inch above your water line. Hopefully it's below where your lid is, so you want to make sure it's not too tall so that it's interrupting your lid to your aquarium, but it needs to be above the water line. That's the really important part here for this filter. Otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to cut this bottle down to the right height. You can use your scissors for that if you want, and you're going to get something similar to this. Now this one's pretty short because my aquariums are not very tall. If you've got a very tall aquarium, you might have almost a complete bottle attached here, and that's just fine. And if you've got a very, very tall aquarium and the entire bottle ends up being submerged, what you need to do then is you need to get a 1-inch adapter, straight adapter, and use that piece of 1-inch PVC pipe and extend this up so that you have a longer neck to this base platform. If you don't do that, then again, the filter won't work. But assuming we've got this cut so that the plastic edge here is about 1 inch above your water level, the next step is to take your soldering iron and to punch a whole bunch of holes into the bottom of this bottle, right up near the neck of the bottle. So 2 or 3 rows of little holes in this is really all you need. And from there, what you're going to do is you're going to take this and screw it back onto the top of your filter. All right, we're getting pretty close to the end. Now, it would be a good idea at this point, again, to go take this over to your aquarium, drop it into your aquarium, and then measure exactly where your water line is so that you know approximately what the depth or the distance is from the top of this piece of PVC to the top of your 2-liter bottle. And that's approximately the length of 1/2-inch PVC pipe that you're going to want, and that's going to sit on the inside of this filter. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and thread it on so that we have an O-ring threaded onto our piece of 1/2-inch PVC. Again, the link to the O-ring will be in the description of the video so you can get the exact right size, which fits snugly on this 1/2-inch PVC. And the idea here is that we're inserting this into the neck of the bottle, and the O-ring helps it stop at the correct height. And what we want to do is we can push and pull this O-ring up or down this PVC pipe until we get it at the exact right spot. And this is where you're going to need to put this in your aquarium to find out, so that this standpipe matches the exact water level of your aquarium. It's okay if it's a little above, it's okay if it's a little below, but the idea here is that you want this piece of PVC to match the water level inside your aquarium. Okay, we're almost done. The last thing we need to do is take just a little bit of filter floss and insert that around that piece of PVC pipe so that it's covering all of those holes that you've punched in your 2-liter bottle. And that's it. The filter is complete. So let's talk a little bit about how this works now, and then we'll go take a look at what it looks like inside an aquarium. Okay, here is our assembled filter, and I would classify this as a upside down box filter or a mini internal solid lift overflow type filter. It incorporates a couple different ideas that I thought would be really handy in a filter, and this is obviously still a prototype, but it works extremely well to capture free-floating debris and the detritus that collects at the bottom of your aquariums. So exactly how does this work? Well, we connect this part to an air line and or an air pump, and the air stone inside this PVC T makes the air sort of go all the way up here to the top and then spill out over the top of this 1/2-inch PVC. Once it's done that, it is essentially creating a siphon, an uplift siphon, where all of the detritus and the waste on the bottom of the aquarium is getting vacuumed up through this 1/2-inch PVC elbow here. And so the water has to travel from the bottom of the aquarium through this elbow up until it spills out over the top of this 1/2-inch piece of PVC. And then where does it go? Well, it's trapped. We're at the top of the aquarium, at the top of the water level, and all of that debris and detritus just sits nice and comfortably on the top of this fluffy material here. And the amount of filter floss that you put in here, it's actually better if you put less than more, because you want water flow through here. You don't want this to be so tightly packed that the water cannot gravity feed back down through, because all of the water that collects in this 2-liter bottle needs to pass through the filter floss and then back out through the holes that we've punched in the neck of this 2-liter bottle. So then we have a continuous flow of water going through, up and out, and then back through, up and out. And this is a fantastic filter design if you have a lot of detritus, if you have a lot of free floating particles, particulate in your water, in your aquarium. It's not quite as good if you have like a sand or gravel type tank, because obviously you don't want that stuff getting sucked up. Also, if you have very small fish in your aquarium, you might want to consider putting some sort of netting on this elbow to make sure you're not sucking up your small fish or your fry. However, you do not want to put a pre-filter sponge on this, because that's going to sort of defeat the purpose of this filter. You want those larger particles to get continuously sucked up and captured up at the top inside this filter. So when I say box filter or corner filter, this is a very similar design to how a box or corner filter works. It's just upside down. So usually a box filter, your flow sort of comes in from the top, it goes down to the bottom, and then it comes back out through the top. Here we start at the bottom and then we go out the top, and then it goes back down to the bottom. So it's just the reverse order. It was important that I do it this way because it makes the filter media a lot more accessible up here to us as we're switching filter media in our tanks. The other inspiration here is a SLO type of setup, which is a solid lift overflow, and you see these a lot in aquaponics and goldfish and tilapia type systems, where you get a lot of really big fish creating a lot of waste that collects on the bottom of big ponds, and you need a way to suck all of that out without necessarily having, you know, a filter in that tank. And so what they do is they connect their overflow for that tank to essentially just a lift tube. And so you can think of this as the lift tube here, which is pulling all of that material up and out. But we're not going through a bulkhead or anything like that. We're just capturing it here in this capture cup. So what happens when we want to do filter maintenance? Well, it is as simple could be, and this was the last part to this design that was very important to me. I wanted to be able to change my filter media in 10 seconds or less, and that's exactly what this does. So once this filter material is all clogged up, full of debris and whatnot, all I have to do is pick up this filter out of my aquarium, turn it upside down, and this filter floss will just fall right out. It'll be nasty and gross. You can throw it away, and then all you need to do is take a new piece of filter floss and just stick it right back in, and you're good to go, and you can continue to filter. Now, this cannot be your primary filter in an aquarium. This is a polishing filter, and the reason for that is because any of the biologic bacteria that would be colonizing in a filter like this, you're going to lose all of it when you go to dump your filter floss and replace your filter floss. So this is a very good mechanical filter. It's not so great as a biologic filter because of how frequently you can change this floss out. And you can change it out every day if you want to, or you can go an entire week. It really depends. It really just depends on how much flow, airflow you put through this. You can do just a little trickle of a flow so that you're capturing just the smallest particles, or you can put it full throttle and you can capture some really big particles here pretty rapidly. So that's sort of what this looks like, how it functions, why I designed it the way I did. Let's go take a look at one of these in use in one of my aquariums.
Alright guys, here's one of our upside down box filters in use in one of my aquariums. As you can see, this one's been running for about a week, and you can see the uplift tube there is right around the water level in the aquarium, and it's not running very quickly. It's just got a slow gurgling, bubbling coming out of the top, but you can see how much debris it's managed to capture here. over the course of about a week. And if I turn this flow rate up, it would certainly capture quite a bit more, and it might get clogged up a little bit faster. It's really going to depend on your flow rate. But this one's ready to be changed, so essentially all I'm going to do here is pull this filter floss out. You can see that's what one looks like without the floss, bubbling away. And then we're just going to stuff a new piece of floss in there. Boom. Filter changed. Now we can walk away from it, and a week later, come back and do the same thing. So easy.
All right, guys, and that's it for our DIY filter. This is a really fun project. This is something that I'm using in every single one of my aquariums, and I stand by how effectively these things work. So if you want to build one of these yourself, look in the description down below. I have links to all the parts and pieces that might be difficult for you to find to put one of these together. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.